I'm here in the Olympic Village. I arrived here yesterday after a few long flights, and it's great to be here. It's a fantastic village, athletes everywhere. My event's on Sunday morning local time, so it'll be Sunday night in Australia, and that's the marathon, so 42.195 kilometres. So I've got some questions here to answer. We'll start with these ones from St. Thomas. What do you eat on a regular basis? Now, on a regular basis, I try to eat a real balance from all of the food groups. So breakfast, I start with sort of either maybe some porridge, or I make a banana protein pancake. And then I like to have a salad sandwich with meat or fish in it for lunch, or maybe a wrap. Sometimes leftovers from dinner the night before. And my dinners range from fries, rice, salmon and vegetables, steak and veggies. I love a lot of things. I particularly enjoy seafood. So I have quite a range of food throughout the day. And why do I love running? What made you fall in love with it? Well, I really like running because of the simplicity of it. You can do it anywhere. You don't need much equipment. It's great to see the world. If you land in a new city, you can go for a run and explore. All you need is your sneakers, and I just really love the freedom that comes with running, and it's just something that I've really enjoyed since primary school. And I did cross country in Narracourt around the pine forest there. It's a fantastic sport. How does it feel to run in the Olympics? It's a huge honour. Wearing the Australian uniform is a really special feeling, and I can't wait to pull it on Sunday and represent my country. And I'll be thinking of all of you and everyone who sent their messages of support while I'm out there, because we're out there running for about 2.5 hours, so you do have a bit of time to think. What was your most memorable moment at the Olympics? That was from Claudia. That's a tough question. I stay and crossing the finish line. So I ran in the London Olympics 4 years ago. I just remember the huge, feeling of, achievement, sense of accomplishment when I crossed that finish line, and to have a hug with my teammates, Lisa Waitman and Benita, it was just really special. And then to see my family afterwards. What inspired you to become an athlete? Eric Jacobs, Eva Conley and Claudia. Always had an interest in sport. I grew up in a country town where we played a lot of sport, particularly netball, and the boys played a lot of football. I also played basketball, did a little athletics, enjoyed tennis. So I always, stayed fit through other sports, and I was inspired by watching the Olympics, watching 96 Olympics. I particularly enjoyed the swimming and wanted to be like one of those Olympic swimmers one day. I thought it was a crazy dream. But then in Sydney, I got to watch the Olympics live, and 12 years later, I was running at the Olympics in London, and 16 years later, I'm here. So you've got to dream big and believe in yourself, because anything can happen. How many hours a week do I train? About 15 hours a week, and that's running and gym work. So just a bit over 2 hours every day, and then recovery and appointments as well. What are some tips to become an Olympian? From Kate. Surround yourself with positive people, and it's on yourself. Just set your big goal, and then set small goals on the way to achieving that. And as long as you work hard and have a really good supportive team around you, you can really enjoy that process of, reaching each goal and continuing to raise the bar. And, the Olympics might just be there. Do I get nervous before I start a race? I do, but I think nerves are a good thing. They help me to perform at my best. And I know that when I'm nervous, my body knows what's coming and that it's getting ready for the big competition. Do I have a lucky charm, and do I think it works? Olivia. So I wear a little golden chain with a few charms that my mum and dad gave me before the Commonwealth Games, and I travel with a teddy bear that my brother and sister gave me. So they're my charms. I think they make me feel really comfortable and confident for the competition. on race day, what time do I get up to start running? So my race is at 9:30 on Sunday, and I'd say I'll be up at 6 a.m. or a bit before to start getting some food in and I guess get into my race kit, and we've got a long bus ride to the marathon start. If I got $1 every time I thought about quitting athletics, would I have a lot of money? I don't really think about quitting athletics. It's really part of my lifestyle. You know, some days I don't feel like training, but that's only natural. I just have to fire myself up and get out there. And there are lots of days where I am excited about training more than I am about not. Than I am, you know, frustrated I have to train. I guess I've had an injury recently, and so I've been extra motivated to run because of that and the time I had to take off. So the thought of quitting goes through my mind much at this stage. How many pairs of shoes do I go through a year? Georgie? It's a very good question. I'd say probably 2 to 3 pairs every couple of months. So maybe heavy shoes and racing flats, maybe 15 or something like that. It really depends on how much running versus cross training I'm doing. Do I have a favourite food outside of training? I do enjoy chocolate and anything chocolate fondant, those sorts of things. I love apple crumble and banana type desserts. So they're my, you know, sweet treats after a big race. I also often after a marathon feel like sweet potato fries and a burger. So that might be what I go for this time around. I cover in a year. I cover about 100 to 160 each week. So yeah, I guess times that by 52. It's a fair bit of running, although I do have a couple of you know, weeks off after the big races where I don't run much at all. How long did it take to work up to the Olympic level, Kate? I believe it's something that, you know, I've been dreaming of since I was a young child, and since I've been active and playing sports, I guess that was all, you know, starting to build that fitness base for the Olympics. But I specifically started training for long distance running and stopped playing netball to focus on my running in 2008. So that was a really significant year, 8 years ago. Okay, this next lot of questions is from primary school in Queensland. So Sophia from kindergarten has said, when did I start running marathons? So my first marathon was in 2012, and that was to try and qualify for the London Olympics. And I was 24 years of age when I ran that one. From Bodie, new one. What are your best achievements in the marathon? I would say my personal best in the Melbourne Marathon last year. I won that event, so 2 hours and 27 minutes and 45 seconds. This is Amy, one of our cyclists. Bye-bye. And in London.
I'm going to put you on there.
Okay. In London in 2012, I finished 39th out of 118, so I was really happy with that achievement as well. But one of the real highlights was the Glasgow Commonwealth Games in 2014, where I won a bronze medal. That was one of my favourite days. Matilda, what does your training program consist of? So I run every day, and on most days I run twice. 2 days of the week I do gym as well for strength and conditioning. So it ends up being about 11 running sessions a week and a couple of gym sessions. Max, when has there been a time when you've had to overcome a challenge, and what did you do? So in 2014 and also this year, I've had a bone injury in my foot, which has meant I've had to take 6 weeks off running back in April and had to do a lot of cross training in the gym. So that was pretty tough for me. But I got back into running and slowly progressed it to get to a point that I'm really happy with. So I've been training hard, and I'm happy with my preparation for this Olympics. Riley in year 4, what advice would you give to children who would love to become an Olympic athlete? I would say make sure you're enjoying the process. So you can have these big goals and you can work really hard towards them, but it's really important too that every now and then you just reflect and make sure that you're really doing it for the right reasons and because it means a lot to you, and that'll make it a lot easier to motivate yourself. So as a youngster, just have fun playing a variety of sports and build your fitness and skills. And then as you start to get a little bit older towards high school, you can start focusing a little bit more on the key sport that you think you might like to end up focusing on. Now we're up to Launceston Prep in Tassie. McKenna, do you struggle to sleep before your events? I do sometimes. It really varies. Sometimes I sleep really well the night before the race. Other times I barely sleep at all. But I've been able to, compete at a level that I'm really happy with either way. So I don't get too worried about my sleep the night before the race, as long as I'm well rested in general leading up to it. If I could choose any foreign country for the next Olympics to be at, where would you like it to be and why? That is a very good question too. I think I'd like to be in Scandinavia. I've never been there before, any of those countries. So maybe Sweden. That'd be really cool. Mainly because I haven't been there and it's somewhere I'd really like to visit. And I think that put on a really good show. What is the marathon course like? It's very flat. We run 3 loops and it's along the beach, so it could be a bit windy and quite hot and humid. Are you staying at the Olympic Village? If so, what is it like? It's really cool. There are big buildings everywhere for the different countries. We have a huge food hall with all types of foods you can think of: curries, noodles, fruit, stir fries, pizza, pasta. So I've really been enjoying going there for meals. And there's also lots of nice little paths and, waterways and little playgrounds and tennis courts here for the athletes to hang out. It's nice. When and against who do you compete next? So my marathon race is in 3 days, and I think there are about 160 girls in the race, so it's going to be a big field. How did you discover you had a talent for the marathon? It was really my coach, Adam, who said that I should have a go at the marathon. I was pretty nervous about it, but I did find that the longer the distance, the more success I had. So it was only natural when I liked the half marathon to have a go at the full marathon to see if I could qualify for an Olympics. And worked to plan and I qualified. So I guess this will be my 7th marathon, so quite a few now. I love them. What is the weather like there? I arrived yesterday and it was pretty cold and windy, but it's meant to be getting hotter each day. So I think it will be about 30 degrees on race day. Am I able to eat my favourite foods in Brazil? The foods I like have been available. I love bananas. They've got bananas here. And they've got some really good fruit, actually. And then basically the food hall has so many options. I love eating salmon, and there's been lots of salmon, so that's good. Plenty of vegetables. Was everything fixed in the Olympic Village when you arrived? Basically it was. I arrived about a week and a bit later than a lot of others, and by then they'd fixed up a lot of those little issues that were there at the beginning. So I was pretty fortunate in that sense. Now we're still on Launceston Prep School. What do I do as a warm-up and cool-down before and after the race? Before the race, I run for about 10 to 15 minutes slowly, and then I do some running drills, and then some strides at race pace, and then I get into it. You don't want to wear yourself out before a marathon, so yeah, I don't warm up for much more than half an hour in total, and then for the cool-down, it's just a light walk usually. I'm often very exhausted. Have I met other really famous athletes? Well, I saw some of the basketballers today who I'd say are pretty famous, but I haven't seen Usain Bolt yet. Some of the athletes have here, so I'm hoping I'll catch up with him at some stage. Have I met someone that I really wanted to meet from a different country? What were they like? I guess, again, it would be cool to meet Usain Bolt. So hopefully I will before the end of the week. We'll see how I go. Was I concerned about my safety during the games, i.e. Zika virus dangerous people? Look, it has been a concern, but the Australian team have been really good, the medical staff, at giving us all the warnings and letting us know where we shouldn't go and what we need to do to try and keep the mosquitoes away, so wearing repellent. And there are some certain areas in Brazil that we should avoid to, make sure we're not at risk of getting hurt or being involved with crime. So we've been very well educated to help us look after ourselves. How did I feel as I approached and crossed the finishing line? In the Melbourne Marathon last year, when I crossed the finish line and knew that I'd qualified for this, I was so excited. It was a dream come true. I'll be able to answer the question for this race on Monday. My biggest unexpected challenge was my foot injury, the bone fracture. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't hope for it to happen, but I've also had a lot of positive things come from the injury, and that I'm really, grateful to be able to run. And I guess I've had to work really hard mentally in my cross training, so I think that will hold me in good stead for the marathon. How am I dealing with the nerves of competing on the world's biggest stage? Yes, surrounding yourself with the other athletes who are all feeling the same way, and we talk openly about how we're feeling, and you've just got to reassure yourself that you've been training hard for this and trust in the preparation. So that's what I'm reminding myself of at the moment. What were some of the highlights of the opening ceremony? Now, we didn't get to be part of the opening ceremony because we were still in a training camp, the entire athletics team, but we walked a lap of the track there and had a bit of a celebration and a dinner amongst the team, which was a lot of fun. And I really enjoyed watching it on TV and seeing Anna Mears carrying the flag. So, it looked like a really good opening ceremony, and the cauldron's fantastic. Now, I think that's all of my questions. So thank you, and hopefully we'll get to touch base at some stage after my race, and I can answer a few of those questions that were specific to the race on Sunday. Thanks, and enjoy watching the Olympics. Bye.